I don't know what's going on with her leg there. What's happening, Liz? Liz, why did you like, why is her leg doing that? What's up, guys? How's it going, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful day in New York City within the Ultimate Spider-Man video game. And today we're going to go on ahead and take a look at all the characters in this wonderful game. Of course, like always, guys, don't forget, if you do enjoy today's video, hit that thumbs up button. That is always very much appreciated. And please take a moment to let me know which of the characters is your personal favorite. Without further ado, let's take a look. We're going to go on ahead and pause the game, head over to the unlockables, and then there is where we have the details we're looking for. We have the concept art, the covers, and of course, the characters, which is what we're here to take a look at. So let's go on ahead and activate that, and let's kick things off with Alex O'Hearn. Here is Alex O'Hearn, who is, of course, a pretty prominent character in the game, at least in the form of a boss fight. So very, very cool to see him here showcased like so. Then we have a Beetle, who is a very surprising character to appear in this, because this is a character that I think is at best could be classified as like a C-level character. So it's very cool to see that this character is in this game and has a very memorable boss fight as well. Then we have Boomerang right here, who is kind of the opposite, not memorable at all, and a bit of a boring character, all things considered. But then again, how could you possibly expect much from a character called Boomerang? We then have the Sinister Carnage. This is one of the standouts in this game. What a cool twist with this character. You don't really expect to see the appearance of this one. The entire game kind of built around Venom, and then bam, suddenly you get the appearance of the ever menacing and terrifying Carnage, who also, by the way, makes for a very fun boss fight as well. We then have the police officer character here, a little how do we call it, stereotypical, I guess, as far as the look for the police officer. We'll go with that. I think let's just say donuts are a delicious food item. Then we have the die-cast thug. I don't know how you would pronounce that, but a pretty generic looking character indeed. To me, this one looks like something out of straight up like a Arnie movie from the 80s as a villain that you would go up against there. But instead, you get to go up against this opponent within the Ultimate Spider-Man video game. Speaking of goofy looking villains, here is another boss from the die-cast gang. Of course, I assume that they're going for the whole idea here with, as far as die-cast, it is the metal side of things. So they are all armed with some sort of cybernetic parts built into them as well. So I suppose that's kind of neat to see. After that, we have the die-cast Lieutenant class, who looks highly cybernetic. And then we move on to Eddie Brock Jr. So this is, of course, the Eddie Brock that then goes on to become Venom himself, which is very, very, very cool to see. And then after that, we have Eddie Brock Sr. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If we look at the two of them side by side, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it's just the way that the character model looks. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I feel like Eddie Brock Jr. looks way older than Eddie Brock Sr. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's the fact that one of them is like in more of a fancy outfit and kind of a lab coat and things like that. But I swear, Eddie Brock Sr. just looks a lot younger, but maybe that's just me. We then have Electro in full power mode, which is a spectacular design. This character just looks cool. Very, very cool design, very memorable boss fight, and just a really cool character in this game. We then have Electro in unpowered up mode. It is odd that they placed those in a bit of out of order. I kind of think that you would want to display this one second so that you go from the much more kind of lame version to the powered up variant. Then we have the Mei Hua Thug. So again, for these thug classes, like the different gangs that you take on within the game, they have different ranks. So you have the thug, you have the boss rank, and then of course, just like we saw with the die-cast group, you will also have the lieutenant rank, which you'll see here in just one moment. Here's the lieutenant class for this gang. Looks pretty cool. I like that they went through all the trouble of like actually placing in all the tattoos and stuff. I think that that's pretty neat to see. Then we have Nick Fury himself, who was probably the single biggest surprise in this game. I did not expect Fury to actually appear in this title. It was very, very surprising indeed when he showed up. I was like, wait, what? Nick Fury's in this? So that was cool. This one I definitely expected to see, and I think it is one of the most underwhelming characters in this game because Green Goblin is such an iconic villain, even in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. So I was kind of surprised and let down by the fact that he doesn't really play a main role, or at least a more significant role. But I also understand it because of the fact that Venom and Carnage are kind of the focus as far as villains are concerned. We then have Johnny Storm, who is, of course, a pretty prominent character in the extra tasks that you'll be completing as you have to race against him in this game, which is actually very, very incredibly frustrating and difficult to do, but very cool to see him in the game. Then we have Kenny Kong here. This is one of the students that goes to the same school that Peter Parker goes to, of course. So this is just, I guess, tertiary level character. Then you have Liz Allen here. I don't know what's going on with her leg there. What's happening, Liz? Liz, why is your leg, why is her leg doing that? It's so weird. Okay. Then we have Mary Jane Watson. What? Okay, maybe it's just that maybe I wasn't noticing that. Were the other characters doing that as well? That's so weird. Why is it just the right leg that just seems to buckle like that? It's very strange. And then, of course, we have the star of the show himself. So Peter Parker doesn't have that stanky leg movement. Here's Parker. He looks battle ready always, as you can see, fist in hand, ready to pounce on some fools. Then we have Richard Parker here, who of course is very cool to see, learn more about him. I wish we would have learned more. We do learn a little bit, of course, as far as like his relationship with Eddie Brock Sr., etc. Then we have the Rhino, which I love Ultimate Rhino. It is one of my favorite redesigns for Rhino. I think it's just so, so cool to have the more kind of mech suit inspired look for Rhino. Very cool. Then we have the High Rollers Thug. So this, once again, just like we saw with the two previous gangs, this is going to feature 3 different classes. So you have the regular Thug, then you'll have your boss level Thug here, who seems a lot like the regular Thug, but just with like rollerblade protection gear on. And then, of course, once you go from the boss, you then move on to the lieutenant. So those are all 3 there. Then we have the very surprising appearance from Silver Sable. This was another one that I did not expect, and I think was very, very cool to see in this game. It just, again, it continued to make the world feel bigger and bigger and bigger as we saw the appearance of Nick Fury and Johnny Blaze, and of course, did I say Johnny Blaze? Johnny Storm. Johnny Storm and Silver Sable herself. Then we have the Sable Mercenary here. So these are obviously the mercenaries that work for hire with Silver Sable herself. Then you have Sharon Carter, who I thought for the life of me was Black Widow, and you can't blame me, honestly. If you look at that character model, you can't tell me that the first impression that you would get would be Black Widow. The red hair, the glasses. Honestly, there's no way that the first time you see this character, you go like, oh yeah, that's Sharon Carter. Then we have a SHIELD agent, kind of generic looking, also somewhat creepy looking. I don't know why they look more like Hydra soldiers to me. I don't know if you guys agree or not. Let me know in the comment section below. Also, I'm not really sure about what the heck this weird battle pose that they're doing with like their 2 fingers kind of like sticking out like that. I don't know what's happening. It also reminds me a lot of that one character from Hellboy. Kind of looks a lot like that one character too. Very creepy looking design for SHIELD agents for sure. Then we have Shocker, who I really like the design for the Shocker. I think he looks pretty cool. He kind of reminds me a little bit of like Quicksilver, but unfortunately this character was very, very lame in the game and didn't really stand out at all. We then have the Yancey Street Thug here, who actually has blood detailing there, which is kind of surprising, you know? It's very rare that you would see in a superhero game blood or anything like that, so very cool to see that detail. Then you have the boss level rank, where they seem to just level up their mohawk and muscles. So it's just more muscles, aka muscles, and more mohawk. That's it. And then you can level up to be a boss. Then we have the lieutenant here. I guess as a lieutenant, you just shave the mohawk off. That's the requirement there. That's how the Yancey Street Gang works, I suppose. Those are the details for them. Then we, of course, have the star of the show himself. It is the one and only Spiderman, which is very, very cool to see, of course. Looking ever so cool. I also did a video, by the way, showcasing all the costumes that Spider-Man has in this game, so go check that out if you haven't yet. It's very, very, very cool to see. Then we have Adrian Toomes. This is, of course, the character also known as a Vulture. So cool to see him here in the game. Looking kind of creepy. And then we have Bolivar Trask, which, if you ever want to sound like a supervillain, call your kid Bolivar Trask, because good googly moogly, that sounds like someone just destined to become a mastermind evil dude, for sure. Then we have Venom, who's looking awesome, of course. We saw Eddie Brock earlier. Here's his counterpoint to Venom. And I'm not sure what he's doing with his hands also. Like he's just cracking his knuckles, I guess, or something. I'm not sure what's going on there. Or maybe he's like warming up to like play one of those like crane claw machines. Maybe that's what's going down. And then last but certainly not least, yet another very cool surprise that appears in this game. It is Wolverine. He only appears really as Logan, so he doesn't really have like the Wolverine costume on at any point in time, but it's still cool to see him appear within the game. And so there you guys have it. Those were all of the characters of Ultimate Spider-Man. Let me know which one is your favorite. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. See you later. Alligators.
There's no risk if you don't try at anything, so I'ma just keep buying everything. See you in the next life, have to be a better me. I don't think that my head's on straight, gotta flip it and grip it and go and get an x-ray. What's wrong with me? I just feel weight pushing on my chest and it squeezes till I suffocate. Better change my mindset, meditate. It's pretty cool that I'm alive and have better days. I could walk, see, hear, I should celebrate. Think I could change my mind.